This is the final group of Season 3. It's Group H. We've got 2 Terrans, 2 Protoss players. You can see the favorite here is clearly Royal. Let's look at our group stage so far. We've gotten through all the other 7 groups finally. We just saw Mini and was it YSC make it out of their group. And we're going to finally find out who's going to round out the round of 16. Let's take a look at today's matchups. Should be Royal facing off versus Backho first. Then we've got Ample versus Noob, which I think is probably going to be the most exciting simply because I feel like they're the most even. But let's get into game 1 and see if actually Backho can surprise me here. So, in the top left, we do have Royal, and meanwhile, in the top right, we do have Backho. So, Backho, we haven't seen him in a long time. I can't remember exactly what team he was on. For some reason, Hwasong Oz is coming to mind, but he was like one of the staples in that lineup. Obviously Killer and Jaedong and 4GG and those types of players, they were the big time names in that team, but definitely Backho was a well-known player, and I think he's gonna have a pretty rough time versus Royal, because even though I've talked about how Royal can be a little bit volatile, generally he's like kind of volatile in Terran versus Zerg. I don't really see him make like big gambles in Terran versus Protoss. Like, yes, sometimes he goes for drops and maybe he can build way too many vultures, but other than that, generally he just plays like a super solid style. Well, right now I don't have any sound, so I've just messaged Cruiser about that. But anyways, we've got Erik's coming down, and this looks like it's probably going to be gas. Nope. As I say that, it's going to be refinery for Royal here. So 12 gas. I know Royal does like to go for the 11 gas quite often, so I'm sort of surprised that we didn't see that. Anyways, Cruiser is trying to fix the screen that I'm seeing, but the screen for you guys should be pretty fine. What I was going to say is Backho here, he's gone for gate gas, but it was a late gas, so it's definitely going to be Zealot pressure. And Royal, every time I watch Royal Micro versus Zealots, like, the Zealots don't do any damage, so I'm not going to lie, I already kind of don't like Backho's build, especially since this is a 12 cast. I mean, he doesn't know it's a 12 cast, of course, but I think if he came into the series thinking like, oh, I'm going to Zealot pressure Royal, I don't think that's generally like a winning play versus him. But we do have the first Zealot almost there. There's only 2 Marines, and I like how Royal's just microing or has it rallied back to his main. Now, what's Backho's follow-up going to be? Because with the late gas, he's obviously not going to have range for a long time. If he goes for range, he's not going to be able to build a Dragoon. And so far, this Zealot has done pretty much nothing. Just taken a lot of damage. Like, he got off a couple of shots onto the SCV. Now, look at this. This is what I've thought about. Like, when you know there's a micro battle going on, why not just attack a worker? Like, the way the probe wins is when they can micro it. There's no micro capability right now. And you saw the moving shot, by the way, of Royal, right? Like, he's one of the few players that can do the moving shot on the SCV. And that's just an immediate command center. I mean, this is just... I mean, he's down workers, right? Like, he's down 1 worker, but that Zealot really didn't do very much at all. It forces out an additional Marine. I guarantee you Royal doesn't care. Royal is someone that will do, like, Marine pressure. So I think that this is not going to be a big deal. Donut Bunker. Okay, he's doing a really good job to optimize his build. not willing to waste 100 minerals if he doesn't need to. And I think Backho, he's doing what he should do, which is just stay back. I mean, now he pushes out, and look at this. Vulture's like, oh, you're out of position, time to go in. And there is a Zealot, and the Dragoon pops out in the nick of time, but could have gotten ugly. Well, this goon is not going to win. He doesn't have range, shouldn't have range for a while either, and Spider Mine should be completing pretty soon. So I'm expecting those to get set up behind the Dragoon in a second. And first tank is out. I don't see any additional Marines. Now, Royal is a tricky player, so he could have like Marines hidden back in his base and just hasn't shown them yet. Uh-oh. Oh, does he not have mines? Right, he does not have mines. Oh, there it is. I was wondering. I was like, man, that feels like we should have mines by now. And now it finally comes out. But not going to be able to get them down in time to get any Dragoon connections. But at least Backho knows now that, hey, I could potentially run into them. So I'm sure he'll be careful. We have a 2-fact follow-up, which is, you know, kind of common. But a lot of times you're seeing the upgrades being prioritized or starports being prioritized from players these days. So it looks like he's going to try and use that additional Marine that he built earlier to put on some pressure. And despite it being, you know, it was like, what, 22 workers to 21 now, or it was a slight advantage for Terran for a second, but I see it's even now. Now this was 3-gate Observer. This is like a really safe opener. I actually am not a big fan of 3-gate Observer, but in this particular scenario where we know there's going to be a timing coming, this is pretty much the perfect counter. eBay coming down. I don't know if Backho is a Reaver type of player, but Royal just playing, you know, like he's playing a normal pro gamer who most of the time just rely on going for a Reaver. I think this is fine. And Dragoon count is pretty high. What is it, 6? With a Zealot? I don't think this is going to work. If Royal makes this work, I would be shocked. I guess he does have, you know, of course, Rally Vultures probably is going to have speed. But with it also being high ground, how do you get up the high ground? Yeah, I kind of wish he didn't even go from this angle. I kind of wish he just went from the left side. And then maybe you have the Vultures rally down there and then, you know, sneak in. So I think it's smart to just back off for now. And I see in Royal's base, he's already got his natural gas. So he's going to have some tech buildings coming in pretty soon. But I didn't see an armory anywhere. I didn't see a starport anywhere. I obviously didn't see more factories. So, not sure where that gas is intended to go. Backho, after stopping the attack, puts down an immediate 3rd Nexus. I think that's smart. I mean, there's no way that Terran can bust through this. Look how many Dragoons there are. It's only 3 tanks. Here comes Royal once again. I mean, the Observer sees him. This is a lot of Dragoons. Can this work? Getting Spider Mine. He's got a lot of Spider Mines set up. Oh my gosh, both of them connect. The left side's low, right side's... Oh my... Okay, well, if you get connections like that, then of course the Nexus can die. Now a lot of these Dragoons are one-shottable by tanks. I think this is a dead base. He does have a lot of Dragoons, but he needs to lead. Yeah, he needs to lead with those first, and that's exactly what he's done. That was smart. He has... Oh! Mine kills 3 of the Marines. But look at the target firing. That Dragoon dies. Well, that one's not going to die, but that was a good hold from Backho. Like, he did lose a lot. He lost 5 out of his 8 Dragoons. Terran also lost a lot, but... Oh my gosh, wow. Terran's going to follow up with a 6-fact timing, and I see that he did have his armory at his natural. So +1's going to be finishing pretty soon. Look at the gas for Royal. Like, he's on the ball with using his gas. He has basically no excess gas. Really going to be nailing his build. He's at 47 workers, which is pretty much perfect on 2 bases. I think this is just going to be going for a killing blow. I guess he cancels the academy. Now that can backfire. Like if this is a... Oh, okay, never mind. He has an academy at the natural. I was going to say, if he, you know, runs into DT or Arbiter, well, he's just dead. Now Backho, like he sees a couple of the factories, but he doesn't actually know that there's 6. I don't think that Observer actually committed in there. And if he did, he would know that he needs to put down a Citadel ASAP. He needs to cut workers now. and just go into mass gates. But I don't see a Citadel anywhere. At least he's going into 6 gate. But honestly, I don't think 6 gate beats 6 factory. He's going to need to at least go up into 8. The supplies are pretty heavily in his favor. But I'm getting worried that, again, it's going to be fake news. Because he's going to be up 15 workers. He's only up 23 supply. So, really up 8 to 10 army value. I mean, that's not very much for Protoss. Now, hopefully, that probe at top middle is not for a Nexus. If that's a Nexus, that's just a waste of 400 minerals. And he really needs units. Now, this drop, I mean, it does a little bit of damage, but mostly it's kind of just annoying. Gets rid of a turret, gets rid of a vulture, gets rid of an SCV, but overall pretty much doesn't do very much. Please no Nexus. You do not need another Nexus. You need to... Oh my gosh, he built another Nexus. There's no Citadel. Oh my gosh, it just started, man. He is in such massive trouble. He's got like a good econ. Like he just needs to have stuff. That is so many tanks. That's 8 tanks. This guy barely has 8 Dragoons. This is going to be a nightmare to hold. This is also Citadel where there's buildable terrain while you push. Like if he builds turrets and depots and stuff, there's going to be no counter. And now, yeah, I mean, I don't remember much about Backho, but I don't remember him being like a Reaver type of player. Now that was a nice shot. He gets off damage while taking none in return. But it's still 9 tanks. It's a 20 supply lead, but all that 20 supply is in workers. He needs to repair those tanks, I will say that. Oh, he doesn't. Yeah, of course he doesn't have speed on the Zealots. He just finished his Citadel. And he builds another Nexus. What is he doing? He needs to build gateways. Dude, 6 gate. This guy's pushing you. Build gates. You have an observer over his third base. You know there's no command center there. He needs units. These Zealots are dead supply. There's no speed. They're useless. This is gonna be a massacre, man. Those Reavers. Okay, double Reaver. Good focus fire from Royal to eliminate them immediately. And those 3 tanks in the front never end up dying. It's just immediate GG. All right, well, that was an easy game for Royal there. I mean, I think that what Backho did originally with taking the third base instantly, getting his 6 gates up was fine, but why 4th Nexus? Why a 5th Nexus? Are you serious? The guy's at your base. You need units. I think that's probably just Backho being rusty right now, but let's get into our more anticipated game. I think it's going to be Ample versus Noob. This one should be close because I personally value Ample and Noob to be on kind of the same level. So let's get into game 2. Right, and here we are in game 2 now. We've got Ample in the top left. And we've got Noob in the bottom left. And Cruiser was telling me that Backho said after his first game versus Royal that he was a bit nervous. So he didn't exactly play his best. Maybe I was a little bit too critical. Because, I mean, even I knew that I hadn't seen his name in a while. It was just kind of weird to see so many Nexuses go down when the guy's literally at your base, man. Like, I don't know. But hopefully you can get it together for the rest of the round because, versus someone like Ample and Noob, I could see victories being pulled out, but I still think this is going to be a tough group just because, the skill level has shot up so incredibly high these days. Now, it is Citadel once again. What's funny about Citadel is I think last season or in ASL, I kept talking about how good Citadel was for Terran. Oh, Citadel this, Citadel that, blah, blah, blah. 4 bases, Terran, insane. And then I think like every game Terran lost. I think the best game we had on Citadel was, Ample versus Snow? Where it was like a 30-minute game and Ample almost won. But other than that, I mean, we seem to just see Protoss win here consistently. But I actually think Ample's got good spawns. He can expand like towards Protoss while also getting pushing power on that mineral only. Kind of like Radion, I've talked about how if you can get top left as Terran and then, Protoss is bottom left, if Protoss expands to the third base at the left side, it's kind of just asking to get, kind of killed. Same kind of thing here, where if Noob takes that mineral only, I mean, you're just asking for it, right? Like, Terran can sit behind the wall, can also get on top of the ramp, and, I mean, how are you going to punish them? Like, you're not. Also, they can expand right behind it at mid-left. So I think it is great spawns for Ample. He does get lucky here with a fast scout, and just like, I was going to say just like what Royal did, but Royal didn't gasless. He is going to go gasless here. This is going to give him massive econ. Now, you know, actually, I think I played Noob on the ladder, like maybe a month ago or something. And I noticed that he liked to go no range, just straight Nexus. So I wonder if that's what he'll do here. He hasn't scouted at all. So I'm kind of thinking that he might, because why else would he need this additional money? Well, there's the Dragoon. Got the 150. All right. Well, okay. Well, he does get instant range. All right. Interesting. Either way, gas coming down for Royal now. Everything so far is very standard. Like the 245 gas. Just very normal. And Protoss is going to find Terran probably last. Wow, that's just the first Marine. I mean, this is crazy what he's able to get away with after, you know, getting off a first scout. There's the Nexus. So despite it being, you know, oh, he did cancel range. I was like, man, that's a fast Nexus. So this is kind of what I was expecting it to be. I guess it was a fake. You know, the SCV was in there. He knows he could push it out, and he knows that the Dragoon could, you know, make sure that it stays out. So Noob has a good opener for, you know, this gasless. He's going to be able to somewhat come back in terms of worker count, but Terran's definitely at a lead. Now, what does Terran want to do as a follow-up? Because now that Flash is, you know, on the scene, we're seeing more and more differing builds. We're not just seeing 2-fact every game. We're not just seeing 1-fact immediate armory or something like that. I've seen games where they go gasless, they go 2-fact plus a starport. I personally never have success with that. I just don't have enough stuff to the Reaver, but I have seen that. Now Noob, he's gone for a really fast robo. In fact, it's still no range. He cut range once again to get that robo out. Right now, I think he has 2 goons. That's it. One right there, and obviously one at bottom middle. It looks like he's going to double expand and go Reaver. Okay, this is crazy. This is pretty nuts. And it's pretty nuts because Ample's going. Is that a 3rd fact? No, it's an eBay. Okay, so he doesn't have intel onto Noob. Like, that could have been, you know, cut range into Citadel or something along those lines. So he can't afford to go 3-fact. But this 2-fact I still think is going to be very powerful. If Noob goes Observer, I hate it. Just no way around it. I just do not like it. I feel like you're too vulnerable to everything. But if this is a passive Goon Reaver, then I like it. Then I think it's fine. But like if it's Observer, you're just asking to get punished. 1 gate, 2 goons, that's it. By the time Terran has 3 tanks, probably Protoss only has like 4 goons, something like that. Okay, there we go. Noob, he heard me. He's like, you know what? Nyoken said go Reaver. I'm going to go Reaver. And there it is. So all of a sudden, I think this is a good opener. He's going to get away with absolute murder with the 3rd Nexus and, you know, having such low econ. And I don't think that Ample's going to be able to punish it. You know, it is hard to push on Citadel, kind of like what I said last game where Royal, you know, went through the center of the map and then tried to attack top right. You know, he's not going to have vision here. And he's going to potentially run into a big scarab shot right to his face. So he does need to be careful. Armory, 6-minute armory, I think that's pretty normal. I know a lot of players do like to rush the armory, but I like the more, you know, like this type of timing armory, because I've noticed lately when Terrans do like the super fast armory, of course they're not able to max out as fast, but what I mean is, like in the past when Circuit Breakers was in the map pool, I remember people rushing armory and still being able to max out at 1230. But I think now that Terran players aren't able to, you know, like 2-fact triple expand and get huge econ, all of a sudden these like really fast 2-1 timings aren't exactly that great, because when you move out, you're still not maxed. So I like this a little bit better, get a little bit better econ. Yes, your pushes or your 2-1's going to be delayed, but it's going to line up more with a max timing instead of, like a 150 supplies timing. So here we go. I don't know. Well, I know how this happened. Now this is one of the drawbacks of not having an observer is, of course, you have no idea where Terran is. And he's going to get right on top of this. Well, okay, these vultures just get in and just going to kill everything. He doesn't have siege right now, but this is already crippling damage. There's still no observer. Is he literally just going to walk in? Okay, there. Finally, there's an observer, but he eats a huge mine shot. Why is there no siege? Oh, he left the Reaver to try and save the probe. That's a free Reaver. Well, of course he doesn't know that, but he's still going to get the Nexus. There's the siege up. I was waiting for that. Maybe this was not as good of a build order as I thought it was, as he loses his Nexus and a bunch of probes. Now that's a good cleanup. He's going to get all 3 tanks pretty much for free. But my main issue now is that there's no 3rd Nexus. He's also supply blocked, by the way. And look at Ample's worker count. 52. This guy should just do what Royal did last game, which is flood the F out of factories. I don't even want to just see 6. Just build 7. There we go. There's 6. Builds all 4 at the same time. This is going to be near impossible for Protoss to hold. He has the 4 gates. He's floating a lot of cash, but he still doesn't have an observer into Terran's base. I feel like you should suspect that this is going to be the case. I guess Protoss didn't lose, any Dragoons. He just lost probes, but he really needs to know, actually confirm that this is a factory flood. Okay, and he does now. He now knows that, hey, it's a 6 fact at least. And he needs to get his Citadel up immediately. Citadel and Forge, probably. Yep, but it's a little faster than Backho's, but I'm still worried that this isn't going to be fast enough. What Citadel takes 40 seconds. It was halfway done, so 20 more seconds. Tanks take, 32 seconds? He's only at 3 tanks right now. So for him to get up to something like 9, which I would consider to be around critical mass, we're looking at, a minute and a half or so? Speed would be pretty close to completing if he was to instantly upgrade it, but his gateways aren't done. Surprisingly, Ample just went and took another base, so I guess the game is going to not, instantly be finished right here. But I think Ample could have gone for it. I guess he's going to take the safe route. He did a lot of damage. He knows he can't be countered. He knows that he's got a huge SUV count, so he can, transfer it over there and be saturated immediately. I guess he's not confident that attacking uphill will outright win the game for him or be a successful attack. So I think this is fine. I mean, he could probably even take a 4th base if he wants. I mean, that's how crazy his econ is. Look at the supply. He's up 15 supply in a Terran versus Protoss. That's unheard of. Well, there we go. Command center is about to finish. Noob needs a miracle here. I don't think he can tech into anything high. I don't even know if he can go Templars. I actually think his best course of action here is probably just get double shuttle and just pray that he can have some immaculate shuttle bombs on top of the tanks. Because I don't know if Terran is going to allow him to get good storms off. I just don't know if he's going to give him the time for that. And this is why I was thinking he might not give him the time, because he's on the move. He saw that a lot of the Dragoons were out of position at bottom right, and guess what? That means you don't have stuff at bottom left, or at least not very much. And now he's going to push. Now some scans went off and there's some DTs, but he should probably have some more energy. No way 1 DT saves this game. I think there's also a drop in the main, by the way, because I can hear some stuff going off and I see a brown dot in the main. I'm going to assume that the Reaver's there. I see some red dots going up there. Yeah, I thought there was something up there. And meanwhile, the DT is, doing good damage. He still hasn't scanned it. Has he killed 2 tanks by now? And Noob is trying to make it weird. I think this is his best option, is go for a counterattack. Maybe draw Terran back. But I don't think that's going to work, because if Ample's smart here, he'll just lift his command center, lay a million mines, and just defend his natural. He doesn't need to save this 3rd base. He just needs to save his nat. This base, or the natural of Noob is 100% dead. There's no chance of it being saved. Ample should just branch off like 2 tanks over there, kill that base. And it looks like that's what he's doing. Well, these goons or these tanks are moving into the goons. I don't know about that. Ooh, see you, tank. Well, this was annoying, but I still don't see how this army gets cleaned up. There goes this Nexus, and also there's more units going over the bottom right. So in the blink of an eye, 3 bases are going to die. Terran's holding here with SCPs and Vultures. And Protoss can't get out of his main. So unfortunately, I think this game is pretty much donezo. Unless a DT can get some huge mine connection. It's a 20 supply lead, you know, all that difference is in workers. But it's a little bit of a bigger difference when Terran's up 20 supply and, you know, not Protoss. Wow, he doesn't even attempt to save it because he knew he would get slammed. GG comes out, and that does set us up for Ample versus Royal. I know a lot of people don't like Terran versus Terran, but Royal's got really good TVT. I think Terran versus Terran is one of Ample's best matchups also. And I do know that Ample likes to do like 5-fact type of stuff. So I don't think that this is necessarily going to be one of those games where you see players just sit on their side of the map and go mass drops. I feel like this could be an action-packed TVT. And our map is going to be retro, and we all know if we get something like horizontal spawns, these mid bases are going to be very important. So I feel like that could be, you know, a key point of contention. And we do have horizontal spawns with Royal in the top left and Ample in the top right. Now it's very important that Royal does not allow Ample to get this top middle base, because as I talked about in Terran versus Protoss, you can use this base as a stepping stone towards getting towards the natural. With this being TVT, it's going to make it even harder to contest the, you know, the top middle. You know, with Protoss having such tanky units, you know, you can run through a ramp, you know, and not necessarily trade great, but at least they can soak up a lot of hits. But Terran ain't going to be able to run up ramps with, you know, speedy units and get good damage done. So Royal needs to make sure he needs to at least not let Ample up that ramp. Doesn't necessarily have to get the base, just don't let Ample get it, is what I'm saying. Now Royal, just like JYJ, I think he's someone that plays some optimized like builds quite often. So we could definitely have a gasless opener from Royal. I don't necessarily think that this is just going to be an 11 gas or a 12 gas. Whereas for Ample, I feel like the majority of the time this is probably going to be like 12 gas. Well, there's the forward racks. And there's the normal racks in the main. Now, usually what this means when somebody forwards their racks like this, they're going to like immediately build 2 Marines. You know, maybe cut a depot for a little bit of time to get them out and do some pressure. So he may be able to get something done versus Royal here, who is actually going for gasless, which I pretty much expected. And Ample is going for the 12 gas also, pretty much as I expected. And I like how Royal's scouting the center, making sure that there's no shenanigans going on. You know, this is my own opinion of Terran versus Terran. For a long time, 8 Raxes, you know, forward Raxes would deal a lot of damage. But these days, I can't even remember the last time an 8 Rax actually did damage to a Terran player, like a pro Terran player. So, I mean, Royal scouting is safe, but I don't necessarily think you need to scout for it because these players are so good now. It just never really works in my experience. Now the SCV control. Now remember, Royal did a moving shot with the SCV last game. And I don't know if I would want to fight that SCV if I was Ample. He almost lost it. I was kind of confused that Royal backed off. I thought he was going to continue to go for it initially. I think that cost him the SCV, but whatever. 1 SCV loss is not the biggest of deal. It also forces Ample to panic here and not send the 2 Marines immediately. I thought he may even build a 3rd Marine, but instead he's just going to back off and hold his ramp. Or he's not. If he goes past the ramp here, I would be surprised. Like, I think he probably should just hold the line at the top of the ramp if he's going to make this type of move. And that's exactly what he's doing. And SCV's going to poke in now, and he's going to actually come in at a good time and see that this guy did go for gasless. And Royal does have 3 Marines, by the way, so there's no chance of a Vulture run by. So Ample is kind of in a predicament here. I've noticed in his main, he did not put down an instant add-on, so he did go Vulture first. There's no way this is going to do damage. And also the Rax is floated over so that there's going to be a full wall. So I really am favoring Royal's position right now, even though we're only 4 minutes into the game. Now the question is what's the follow-up going to be? If it was going to be, you know, mech, well, not mech, if it was going to be like Tank Goliath or Tank Vulture or something like this, we would have already seen another factory. So this has to be Starport. It cannot be anything else. And what is Ample going to do as a follow-up? A lot of times when you are in this situation, you end up going mines. Even though mines don't connect onto vultures, obviously, they at least give vision, which is great. And it allows you to kind of get a read on how many units the opposing player has. Like if the vulture blob just sits over a mine, you can read it like, okay, do they have 8? Do they have 12? How many does this guy actually have? And it is Starport. It's only 1 factory, 1 Starport, though. 1 factory, 1 Starport can be kind of dangerous if you get all in, but I guess he's assuming he's not getting all in, and well, his assumptions are right, and he won't need the second Starport for, you know, Wraith to overwhelm Goliath or something of that nature. Okay, well, Ample shows that he's already here, and mine is already set up. Okay. How's Royal going to deal with this? You know, it is retro. There is buildable terrain near where that tank is. He could potentially build a bunker there, but he didn't send an SCV. I don't really know what to think of this because it does force Royal to at least get siege mode, but I don't think he's going to overreact here. While already getting 2 pot shots on the tank. That's already going to trigger him to turn around. Well, maybe not, as he comes back in for round 2. I feel like actually Ample needs to be careful too, because he never confirmed if there was a second starport. A lot of times these Terran players do hide their second starport, yet he's still sitting here with just 2 Marines. Now if there's a Goliath, that's different, but there isn't. Okay, now he smartly turns around, and now I would love to see him send an SCV and just hold this ramp up here. He's got his barracks still alive. I think he could use that high ground, you know, heavily to his advantage. It's a pretty close rush distance. I don't think he would get overwhelmed by like tanks or a push, but instead he just backs off all the way to his main, and this Wraith is most likely going to kill off that barracks in a second. Those, and now Ample, he did luckily get down his 3rd and 4th factory, but not going to be able to go into any additional factories for a while. However, Royal's on the move, and he's saying, well, you didn't hold this ramp, so guess what? I'll take it. And all of a sudden, I really don't like Ample's position now. It's going to be like 3 fact versus 4 fact. Royal has add-on for his starport, so this all of a sudden, oh, it's actually 4 fact versus 4 fact. Royal also has a starport, so dropships can come into play. And everybody knows how wide open the mains are on retro. And now Ample has to defend under the ramp while also defending his main. I feel like this is kind of a nightmarish scenario. Surprised that there's still no SCV sent to top middle, though. I thought for sure that he was going to expand. Okay, maybe that's it going right there. I did just now see the dropship get loaded up. So it's 4 vultures being loaded up. I noticed that he didn't use any mines. I don't think he has the upgrade, but maybe it'll complete in a second. So this could get pretty bad real quick, because right now I think there's only 1 Goliath for defense, and all these units are way out of position. Oh wow, he just lays mines immediately, and oh, it didn't kill it. Okay. Well, so far it's good defense. Luckily, he's also able to repair that tank. If that tank had died, that would have been horrible. But he repairs that tank, and by the way, Royal is starting to build up a lot of tanks and vultures. Probably getting ready to bust out of this, very smallish contain. However, the arc is really good for Ample, in my opinion. Like, he has his units placed, spread out pretty well. He's also, like, just barely in range of the ramp, or just slightly below, out of range of the ramp, so it's not like a lot of units can get down very easily for Royal. Well, maybe he's not in as good a position as I thought. It does look like Royal's going to instead go through the center. But now, wait a minute. Now Royal's taking top middle? I thought he was going to go to the left side and take mid left. If Ample had a scan top middle, he could have been able to cancel that top middle base. But instead, he's feeling the pressure in the center of the map. And it's going to try and wipe out those tanks. All those vultures of Royal are way out of position. Why are they over there? These are free tanks. There goes one. Can he get another one? Royal's going to take this time to do a counter. I can see him sending all the vultures towards the natural, but there's a Goliath there to hold the line, soak up so many hits. Ample's going to hold this, man. Royal's got a good build order, but Ample's positioning is way better here. Now you can just sit outside of the choke. Oh, this is terrible. This is so bad for Royal right now. His only hope now of busting out of this contain is to pray that he had built race nonstop, which I don't think he did, by the way. That's the barracks. That's not a starport. Yeah, now he's getting cloaked. Now he's realizing, like, I can't get out of my base. I better go cloak Wraith. But I don't think that's going to really work out too well. Goodbye, tank. He's even right to the refinery. Oh my gosh, this is such a crushing position. He's also isolated those tanks at the top middle. Like, if he just goes like vultures out of his 4 factories, those 4 factory vultures will kill top middle. And now Ample has his mid base coming up. I mean, this is such a good spot. He's transferring SCVs. He needs to transfer like more tanks or more vultures over there, man. 3 tanks are not going to cut it. Wow, is he inching forward? Oh, he is. Wow, he has so many tanks. Oh, but he didn't have a scan. He's going to get 1 for 2 for 2, 3 for 2 for 3. Okay. Oh, he's inching closer. He's in range of the command center. That thing's going to die. Goodbye. Wow, I cannot believe that Ample is going to win this game. Well, it looks like he's going to win this game at least. Royal needs to do something. Yeah, he's finally going to counterattack. He's going to try and cut off reinforcements. But there's enough stuff here that I don't think that matters. Like, he can't counter Ample's third base. If he counters Ample's third base, all of a sudden these tanks are isolated again. Now, that was a really good SCV drop. Kills a lot of tanks, actually. Kills 2 or 3 tanks. That was fantastic. All vulture attack here, not going to get the damage that he was looking for. I'm surprised that Ample's playing so passive here with his tanks. Okay, well, there we go. I was going to say with his tanks on the high ground. No scans? No more scans? No more scans? Does he only have 1? Wow, he ran out of scans. These 3 Wraiths are going to save the day. The vultures are still going to come in here and get some damage. These SCVs are, obviously very vulnerable. Going to lose these SCVs. But at least Royal's not going to die, which is the key. Ample moving out at the same time. I don't know. I see a lot of red dying. All those tanks die. And Royal critically saves his top middle base. I don't know. Ample, yeah, you need to turn around. Oh my gosh, huge mine connection. But he doesn't have any more anti-air. It's like momentum swinging back in Royal's favor, man. Ample, he lost, I love the push at the natural, but he lost his opportunity to kill top middle when there were only 3 tanks. Of course, he had to keep scanning the natural, and, you know, obviously I knew that, and he didn't. But he did have a golden opportunity there. Of course, he's not out of it, but he is down 20 supply. He does at least have even bases. He has even worker count, and his factory count is pretty much even, but not all completed just yet. So we may actually get into a long game here. Royal maybe trying to take mid left. Yeah, it looks like he's going to be moving over there. I saw an Ample's base science facility is done. Curious what the timing of his +2 is, but it could be somewhat close to finishing. And we are going to have command center over at mid left. All right, so this is the struggle for Ample now is Royal has top middle, a key base, a center base. Royal's taking mid left, and then Royal's also, you know, if we split map here, also likely to get all of bottom left. So then Ample has to somehow get bottom middle and be able to defend all that. Oh, what are those Rays doing? They took a lot of damage. Small skirmish here is going to give Ample a victory. And supplies are back to even. Oh, what? How did none of those connect? And Ample on the move, trying to deny the left side of the map, but he's got to go so far. I don't really see how he's going to be able to deny that and be able to hold his like defensive posture in the center of the map and top middle. These 4 race, even though they're not in a high number and they're not exactly the strongest unit in the game, they are still annoying, especially when the opposing player has no Goliath. That's so much stuff. You could kill that. And that's exactly what he's going to do. Or he's going to try to do, I guess. Where's his race? We have them selected, but I don't know where they are. Well, Ample's up in supply now. Well, not just slightly. He's up 10. But there's no anti-air. So these units are going to die. Command center coming up at bottom right. These tanks are dead. Vultures are dead. I wonder if he's been building more drops or building more race here, because I'm like looking at the rally point right now. I see a lot of stuff clumping together, which makes me think we may be having like a doom drop. And Ample is on the okay. Well, there's 2 shuttle or 2 dropships, so not an overwhelming amount of dropships, but he does seem to be going drops now. Ample once again on the move down to bottom left. He does have security over the center, and he does have bottom right coming up, even double expanding at bottom right, the main and the natural. Uh-oh, huge attack. Okay, not a lot of tanks here. Not a lot of tanks at all, in fact. What are the upgrades? Is anybody +2? Big shots, big shots. Those tanks are not in siege. Oh, huge mine shot. He's gonna bust this base. Or maybe not. Maybe not. Oh, actually he is. Those tanks, I thought that those vultures coming back were actually tanks, and he's out of siege mode, man. There's enough Goliaths here to kill the one single raid. Tanks are gonna be unloaded. He needs to unload those directly on the tank. Okay. CBs. Oh, somebody only has... Roy only has +1? Ample probably has +2. Is Ample going to win this game? He's killing mid left. He's got all the bottom right set up. I think he has +2. I can't imagine him not having +2. And he has race! So this is a dead base. Oh. Where's Ample? I mean, where's Royal's supply? Okay, there we go. 5, what is that? 5 dropships? Oh, he found the drops. Maybe he got 1 dropship? But 3 dropships is not enough to do like a crippling drop blow into the mains. I don't think Ample should really be necessarily too worried about it. Now, if he can get off a drop and then, a follow-up drop, then yes, that's different. What? Is he still going for it? Oh, he focused down the dropship, by the way. The Valkyrie led the way, but it was target fired. Or the turret target fired the drops. Well, he needs to save those dropships, man, if he wants to come in for round 2. Looks like I heard them die, so that's not going to happen. And this drop gets cleaned up pretty easily. Ample's at a huge lead now. He's had 5 bases versus, I mean, technically, I guess it is 5, but there's no SCVs down at bottom left. And this drop is going to do nothing. I mean, this is just an int of his tanks. Goodbye. They're all dead. Oh, supplies plummet for Royal, man. Whoa, he just GG's. He doesn't even try and play it out. Okay, so Ample with a nice win there. Like I said, I loved his natural attack. I thought he kind of messed up a little bit by letting Royal get the 3rd base, but in the end, he still gets the victory. And that was not what I was expecting. All of a sudden, Royal needs to come back 2-0 to get out in 1st place, and Ample's playing pretty well. I don't know if you're going to be able to do that versus Ample. So let's get into game 2 now. And this time around, we're going to be going into Dark Origin. Okay, so in the top left, we do have Royal. And in the bottom right, we do have Ample. Now remember, whoa, okay, that's not the person that I was going to say this about. I was about to say, remember, in ASL, we saw Royal, go for, what was it, a 7 racks or an 8 racks versus Light on Minstrel. But here we go, it's Ample actually going to be the one with the 8 racks. Now, I don't think that this was fast enough to proxy in the main, but he could proxy it at the natural. I'm looking at his money, maybe it is fast enough for the main. Is it a 7 racks? He's not queuing up any additional SCVs. All right, I don't know what to think about a 7 racks. He could have already had his 6 racks building right now. Now it starts. Can't you 8 racks at like 55 seconds? My issue with this is that 8 racks you can transition out of, 6 racks you can't transition out of, and I get a feeling that you can't transition out of this either. So why not just 6 racks? Also, it means you don't have to build an additional depot as quickly. And Royal, well, he's not going to see it. It doesn't look like the SCV will bounce in range, but the SCVs might bounce within range of each other. Let's see if he does. No, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. At least I don't think. All right. And gas coming down. Another SCV coming out. So he's trying to act like he didn't proxy. But obviously he did. So maybe this is the reason why he 7 racks instead of 6 racks, because he's going to have an additional SCV. But I mean, you always have an additional SCV with an 8 racks. I can't remember if you do with a 6 racks. Either way, the Marine is, well, he needs to hide himself. SCV needs to hide himself too. Yeah, you can see he immediately turns around. And he's going to come in here and see that, hey, this barracks is not done just yet. Now he's on the move. The SCV did not see anything coming. Everything looks very normal right now. But of course, we know that there's definitely not. Or it's definitely not normal. Oh, I love it. Bunker right here. He wants to end this. Bunker is so strong, by the way. So strong if it doesn't get scouted. It is not scouted just yet. I don't know how many SCVs you need to, support 1 racks Marine. But if I was Ample right here, I would be pulling every excess SCV that I don't need, because obviously this either wins the game or you're dead. So, here we go. All of the boys are being pulled. That's a full surround, though. He needs to repair that. Okay, he's got... Oh! He clutches it! He surrounds every single Marine. If even just 1 or 2 got in that bunker, it would have been in range of the factory, which means it wouldn't have completed. That was a miraculous hold by Royal. And look at this. Factory's done. You're not getting in anymore. Ample hasn't even started his factory. He's at a massive disadvantage now. He's also got 2 SCVs across the map. So even though the worker supply is the same, it really isn't. Wow, that was an insane hold from Royal. I thought that once the bunker died, he was just going to walk into the other one. And now Ample has to panic build a bunch of stuff just to make sure he doesn't get killed off by a single vulture. But knowing that, Royal builds an eBay here saying, no, sir, you're not going to wall yourself in. Actually, that was a bunker, not a depot. But you can see Ample's on full-on panic mode. He's like, man, I got to get a bunch of stuff set up right now. That was so close. Oh, that was nuts. That was slick. That was nice also. Is there a Marine with this to run by? No? Is he just gonna go for it anyways? My gosh, and he gets in. Remember, one of these Marines are one-shottable. Yeah, that one right there. Goodbye. You're dead. Oh, Ample, it was so perfect until it wasn't, and that means he's gonna tap out the GG. And at least that gets us a tie score, but I thought he had it, man. I thought he was gonna get it with the bunker. Well, that does set us up for game 3, which we'll be going into right now. It is going to be Citadel. So let's get into it and find out who's going to be making it out in first place of this group. And here we go. In the top left, once again, we do have Ample. And this time in the bottom left in Noob spot, we do have Royal. All right, so this is another one of those maps where I think gasless is really good. I think that because Royal showed gasless the first time, Ample may not suspect it to be gasless again on a big 4-player map. So because of that, I'm hoping that Royal goes gasless once more. And if you're Ample here, I would hope to see a 14cc because I do think it will be gasless on Royal's side of the map. I have a feeling it's just going to be another 12 gas. Yeah, okay, for a second I thought that SCV was going to go out and build like proxy racks, but not going to be the case. Meanwhile, Ample... Alright, is this going to be center racks? I mean, it must be, right? There's no other reason to scout this quickly. Feels like he sent it really early, though. Alright, so he's taking the gamble that Royal's on the right side of the map. This time he's wrong. And this is not going to pay off for him. He's going to be... I was going to say he's going to be down a worker, but he's somehow even in worker count. I don't know how you scout so fast and be even in worker count. There's the gas for Ample. It was also gas for Royal. So basically, mirrored builds, there's almost no difference in even the minerals at all, despite the fast scout. So that's a bit interesting. I don't know how that worked out. But either way, it should be 2 Marines for both sides, just like on the retro game. And we'll see if Ample wants to be aggro here or not, or if he'll just back off. I think he'll try and, you know, make an attempt at bottom left, but more than likely he'll just back off. Now, because I know Royal's a tricky player, I will keep my eye on whether he's going to continue to mine gas or if he'll pull off. Ample's already pulled off, so there we go. There's the factory there. And I can see on the mini-map that Royal has also pulled off. So no shenanigans, no too-fat craziness. No, like, double starport on one baser and nonsense like that. It is just going to be a normal play. And, okay, I forgot about this. Because the Rax is so far forward, he can just send the Marine across the map. Okay, he's not confident to send it. He thinks that, I guess he thinks that Terran or that Ample may be top right. Ooh, is he building a 3rd Marine? Oh, he did. He built a 3rd Marine. This is the perfect counter. Goes was good stutter. Whoa, that was even better micro. That was even better micro. But the Marine is going to waltz in and get off a full scout, so at least Ample's going to know what's coming. And, you know, having 3 Marines isn't exactly the best use of money in Terran versus Terran. I don't think losing that 1 Marine from Ample really matters at all. He's still going to have the same factory timing. Yes, he's going to have a little bit less DPS in the beginning, but should still be okay. Can he get that Marine, or that SCV, I mean? Ooh, nice. Gets that. Well, now it could be a little bit worrisome that now he's lost both of his Marines. And, you know, Royal kept all 3 Marines alive. Now, Royal could do like a 2 Vulture, 3 Marine attack. And I don't think like 3 Vultures would necessarily beat that for Ample. Starport. Okay. Interesting. The second factory for Royal. Royal is like a big-time Vulture type of player, so I don't think that this is going to be Tank Goliath. I really do think that this is just the beginning of 3 factories. There we go. Okay, there we go. 3 Vultures and 3 Marines are on the move. Now this is going to be a lot of DPS. This is going to be so hard to stop. Oh, we caught him. Goes 1 Marine. Oh my gosh, that is just so much damage right there, man. At least he's building... Oh, the Marines aren't helping. Where are they? Another Vulture falls. Looks like he will... No, I don't think he's going to hold because there's still another Vulture coming. Wow, he just literally built non-stop Vultures. And this is one of the downfalls of having the Proxy racks if you lose all your Marines. Now you just die to counters like this. He kills another Vulture, but I think Royal can kill this Vulture also while also killing all the SCVs. There goes 1 more SCV. And another one. And another one. And he's just going to back off. And because he has 3 facts, I mean, he's not worried about getting countered. He knows that the Vulture count is really low. He now sees that this guy only has 1 factory. So he knows that it can only be Wraith. So it's going to be like 3 factory Goliath versus 1 factory, no add-on for a Starport either. There is no arm Wraith, so I guess this will be annoying, but I don't think that the Wraith has enough DPS for this to really be impactful. It's just gonna be a nuisance, really. Oh, gets rid of 1 SCV, which is great. But the Royal should be able to repair this one. Yeah, Ample's in trouble, man. It's just gonna be so many units, and none of his units are very powerful. I mean, he has the weak Vulture, he has the weak Wraith. He's going for a second factory. I don't even know if he survives here. There's 8 Vultures here, so he can one-shot the Vulture. Oh my god, these repairs are really clutch. It's just that the DPS just isn't there. I mean, he maximized repair, that's for sure. Like, he definitely got the most repair value you could possibly get, and he just GG. Yeah, that's a tough situation. Go for the Proxy racks, do no damage. This guy built 3 Marines, what can you really do? And you go into a factory or into a Starport versus the guy that went 3 factory Vultures. So, it happens. Ample's going to be sent back down to the Deciders match. Royal going to be out in first place. And now we're going to be going into, who is it? Noob versus Backho. So at least we're going to get a little bit of a different matchup here. We're going to get a PvP, and we're going back into Retro now. And here we go. I guess it's just rigged today where we're getting the same spawns. We've got in the top left Noob, and in the top right we do have Backho. So since Backho was talking about how he's rusty, I wonder what type of build order he's got planned in PvP. You know, in the olden days we saw a lot of 1 gate Ob, 1 gate, you know, Reaver, stuff of that nature, but these days we see a lot more like faster Nexus timings. We don't necessarily see 1 base all-ins, you know, waiting for the 13 or 14 minute mark before a Nexus gets put down. It is also retro where there's multiple ramps. Does he really want to try and like bully his way up, up top middle and then bully his way into the main at top left? So things like 3-gate, I don't know if that's going to be really a viable build here for him. So far, nothing crazy going on, of course, with the pylon in the main. No proxy pylon in the center of the map. I will point out that Noob's pylon is way closer towards his main. So I'm going to guess that that's going to be for no zealots. There's the first gate, and Backho going to be sending out that quick scout. I always get curious about why certain players probe scout like now. Why some, wait for like 13 or, even just sticking around for one more cycle of minerals before being sent out. But we do see Noob going out also. Both players have gone gate gas. So really we're just waiting to see how the mid game unfolds because nothing's going to happen here. I don't really expect any zealot pressure at all from either player. Cybernetics coming down basically at identical times. Noob gets lucky here and will find Backho first, so he'll have the opportunity to go like straight Citadel if he wants. And now the harassment begins as that probe starts being annoying in that mineral line, already getting one of the probes down to half health. Well, actually, Backho did build a zealot, so he is going to place cautiously here. And maybe it's because the probe got in the main, he didn't want to, take massive damage to a man or pylon. So I don't think I remember seeing the zealot like being queued up immediately, but maybe I'm wrong. Now this time around, Noob has gone into straight range, unlike what he did versus Terran. And this probe is still alive, getting some good intel here. Backho gets in also, and he will see the third pylon, which is great. Now he knows that unlikely that there's hidden tech anywhere. He will also confirm range, and he'll put down his third pylon also. So still just pretty much identical builds. Yes, Backho has a zealot, but does that really matter? I'm going to say probably it doesn't. But I will say that the probe count is noticeably in favor of Noob. So that makes me a little bit worried that Backho may be cutting a little bit too much. Probe is going to the low ground. There's no way he's taking a Nexus, right? Like, that's just... it's impossible. Is that even a okay, it is a robo, but... whoa, 3-gate? Okay, well, Noob's going to have a good build order counter, because this really does look like it could be 1-gate Nexus, 1-gate robo Nexus. But maybe I'm wrong, because... oh, wait a minute, is it 3-gate also with Ob? 3-gate Ob? Uh-oh. Backho's actually got the better build order, because I did not see a robo in Noob's main. Little skirmish right there. Nothing major really going down. What's that? Yeah, observatory, of course. Safe route. Wow, look at that. Robo just started when the observatory is basically done. So massive build order advantage for Backho. I mean, this is huge for him. He's going to have full intel. He's going to know exactly where he stands. Noob is going to have more units at first. So Backho needs to be a little bit careful to not overstep. But Backho has that zealot to buy him time. So I'm not too worried for him. Also, his gateways weren't that much different in timing anyways. Oh, well, he can't be out here like this. Yeah, he needs to run now. Well, now I'm worried because that goon's pretty low. He does have reinforcements coming. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Well, this is not good now. Really low zealot. One goon already died. Well, what are you doing, noob? There's 7 goons up there. You only have 6. Just hang out. Just make sure that this guy doesn't get a Nexus. That's a win condition for you. Just get better econ than the opposing player. Backho is up workers, though. So that is, something to consider as the game progresses. Gotta be support bay. Yep, there's the support bay. And I have noticed that Noob is just content sitting on 22 probes, but as I say that, I now see that the Nexus is blinking, so he'll be going up a little bit. Support bay coming in for Noob also. Reaver should be on in the way pretty soon. Shuttle's already out. Noob had the later robo and he already has a shuttle? I mean, isn't this pretty risky here? Like, he doesn't have an observer, he just went straight robo. Okay, elevator out of the base. We saw it. Four zealots. That's a lot, man. And there's the Nexus from Noob, but I'm not convinced that he'll be able to hold this. I mean, zealots can soak up a lot of shots as they come down the ramp like this. And here we go. What these goons actually are trying to engage, I think this is a big mistake. Isn't he gonna lose like basically every Dragoon here? But it's really good focus firing. He's maximizing the amount of damage. He's killed 5 goons already. Well, actually this went way worse than I thought. Oh, the Reaver's bugging out, not firing. Typical Reaver. That's a nice shot. Another night. Whoa, whoa, whoa! He loses the Reaver. Whoa, whoa, wait, what's Noob doing? He's gonna lose his Reaver too. What? Dude, that's his whole army. I mean, Backho's gonna have to wait for a shuttle to come out, but if he just immediately counters, which he could because he has an observer, he knows what this guy has. I think Backho could just win the game with one single counterattack. Hopefully he has a Reaver shuttle coming, because if he does, that could be a GG coming. Noob needs to get a bunch of stuff on the ramp and buy time. Yeah, he goes into 5 gate because he knows he's in massive trouble now. He needs to just have a lot of stuff. But Backho, he's on the move. He knows what this guy has, and it's not much. Oh, that observer's gonna die. That's a big pickoff, actually, because even though he saw 3 goons on the ramp, he doesn't know if there's more back in Noob's main, so he may feel kind of hesitant to go. Observer just spots it, man. Really nice. And Noob's gonna get into position. Okay, good read from Backho. Backs off. Doesn't commit there. Not willing to risk it. What's that going to mid-right? It's a pretty quick unit, so it makes me think it's a probe. Yeah, it is a probe. Hopefully this is for some pylons, not just a Nexus. Get some vision up there. Make sure he doesn't get hit by like a Reaver drop. But it's 5 gate for Noob versus just 3 gate for Backho. Supplies are so close. I mean, it's 74 to 74. There's only a 2 worker differential. It's all going to come down to the control. And actually, control has been pretty good. I've kind of been critical of Noob's attacking, but every time he's gone in, even though he's taken a lot of hits initially, he gets a lot of kills himself. And critically for Noob, he's also got the observer advantage, so he knows that all these units are still sitting on the high ground and not at the natural. So look what he does. He loops over towards the center. He was gonna counterattack, but now that he knows that the units have gone back to the center, he just backs off for now. Instead, is just going to hang out. And Backho, despite not having a Reaver, or not having an Observer, had a good read to move back towards the center. So, good game sense there. Recognizing that he was potentially going to get countered, and he was. And it looks like both players are just still going to be content on this such low worker count. All right, we're going to have a big engagement here, but I actually think that Backho's army is bigger, is it not? However, the Scarab shots seem to be in favor of Noob. Ooh, maybe not. Wow, that's a lot of... There's still so many blue goons on the map, and it looks like Backho's actually going to be pushed back. Both Reavers survive, I think, for both sides? Or maybe just one Reaver survived for Backho, but he has another one here. But look at the supplies now. He lost another Reaver. His supply is now 20 less than Noob. And this attack may just end the game. 4th and 5th gate are just now, completing. Whereas Noob has had the 4th and 5th gate done for like, what, 2 minutes now? Big Reaver shot. Yeah, this is the typical Reaver micro battle. Ooh, that one connected though. That's not good. One more connection there and that thing's gonna die. I actually think he needs a battery. Oh no! With gone. And that's probably gonna be all she wrote. Huge Scarab shots. GG comes out. And that means Noob is 1 game away from getting a rematch versus Ample. I think overall build orders were pretty good from both sides, but in the end, that contain that Noob setup just did crippling damage. Now we're going to be going into game 2. We're going to be on Dark Origin, so let's get into that. This could be an interesting one with it being a 2-player map and it being PvP. Here we go. We've got Backho in the top left. And in the bottom right. Oh. He wants to end this game ASAP. We've got Noob in the bottom right. Oh, both players sitting out an early probe. Okay. You don't see that often. Will they intercept each other in the center of the map? Of course they will. All right, so I imagine both players are just gonna build in their main, right? Like we're not gonna have a gateway versus gateway in the opposing player's bases, are we? There's the pylon. Noob may actually try and do this. He may manor pylon in here. I guess that's what I would do, manor pylon. Well, he's losing a lot of resource, a lot of time by not building that pylon. Ends up just building it right at his main base, but now he's under threat of being manor pyloned himself. Noob doing Noob thing. Look, he's already hit that probe 4 times, man. It's so annoying. He may kill that thing. There's the gate. Now, Noob is down 1 worker because he sent out his probe a little bit faster. So that obviously is a big benefit to Backho. If Backho can get a manor pylon here, he may just start running away with the resources. If he can get a manor pylon down. Still not able to get in though. And I don't know why Noob already built another pylon, but that seemed like a preemptive pylon. So that makes me think that it's going to be an immediate zealot in his base. No gas for him. Meanwhile, oh, there's the manor pylon. All right, that's great. He catches 2 probes. That's fantastic. So no gas for a Noob, and there is gas for Backho, so he's just going into a normal-ish follow-up. Should see the cybernetics pretty soon. Also, Backho has his own zealot coming pretty soon. Oh, that probe might die. It did die, by the way. Nice. This is like a prime position for Backho, man. Like, it doesn't really get much better than this. Manor Pylon. You sent out a later scout, so your eco's better. You got gas. You blocked this guy's Nexus, because this guy wasn't mining gas. It looked like he was going to go, like, Gate Nexus Forge. Everything's going perfectly for Backho. I mean, this was a great read from him to know that this guy wanted to expand. Is he going to do it again? Here comes the probe. Okay, he is going to come down here and try and build a Nexus. Now, what do you do if you're a noob here? It can only be a Forge. Like, it can't be anything else. So if I'm Backho here, maybe I don't, proxy a Robo, because I think Noob is probably going to build units non-stop. But I would go immediate Robo in my main, go straight Reaver, or maybe if I was feeling frisky, go for DT and use the probe to jump it into the main, because the Dark Origin has that mineral in the backside. Now, another great pylon block prevents the Nexus for the third time. He still has the probe alive also. This is so obnoxious. But despite all this, I do want to point out, remember Backho was up 2 workers? Now Backho's down 2 workers, and he hasn't lost a worker yet. So he's definitely cutting or messing up his build somehow. I mean, it must be a Robo in his main, right? I see like a building that's kind of forward. It has to be. Hopefully it is. Is that a gate? No, not a gate. Why a gateway? What is this double? This is 3 gate. Who is faking Nexus first to go into 3 gate? I mean, that's some mega mind game, man. But isn't his range and stuff going to be so late? Not sure if Backho got in far enough with that Zealot to notice that this guy actually hasn't built the Nexus. He needs to be careful. I realize that he's gotten off a few shots in his favor, but he has no intel on what Backho is doing. For all he knows, this could be anything. It could be a Nexus, it could be 3 gate, it could be proxy gates, it could be Reaver, it could be literally anything. So he needs to be very cautious making any move towards the center of the map. There's a Robo now, so 2 gate Robo. I think he still doesn't know. These Zealots have good health. Like, he could turn around and fight. But now he knows, obviously, that there's no Nexus. And, uh-oh, did he go in too far? I think he did. There goes 1 goon. And another goon. Not sure how many Zealots died, but the Zealot is going to walk into the main, so he will be able to confirm that this was a 3 gate. And maybe he can get some probe kills with it. So now that Backho knows that it's a 3 gate, no observer, now, first off, he can play defensively versus it, and second, he can go straight Reaver here and really punish this guy. Actually got a probe kill there, so that's nice. There, okay. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! Support Bay and Citadel. I wonder if he watched the game from game 1, where this guy went 3 gate into Nexus, into 5 gate, or was it Robo Observer into 5 gate, and just didn't have, or wait, did he go Robo Observer or did he go Robo Reaver? Either way, I feel like he skipped Observer for a long time, so maybe he's trying to punish that by going for like, hey, I have Reaver, haha, you should go Reaver yourself, and then actually follow up with like a DT drop. Well, either way, Backho needs to do something with this type of play. He's going to have his units pushed back for now. And Noob does have a Nexus coming, so he's going to have big econ in the next couple minutes. More Zealots falling for both sides. From downtown, gets that goon. And it still looks like neither player really knows what each other is doing. Other than Backho seeing a 3-gate. He didn't confirm the Nexus, he didn't confirm the tech, and there's the Templar Archive. This could be game ending. He doesn't even need a shuttle now. He could just send DTs across the map. Observatory is not started yet. He needs it ASAP. There goes the Nexus. And that is Observatory and Support Bay. Alright, well, it needs to have that Observer out immediately. Otherwise, these Kate boys may secure a victory for Team Red. A lot of goons. Uh-oh. Shuttle out first. That's not a good sign. Will he notice the blur? No, he doesn't. As he sneaks in. Oh, he didn't notice then either? Okay, immediate pull. Well, that's good. He loses 3. But he doesn't know about the other one in the main. There's Observer. He has it. He's going to kill that. DT. There's another one in his main he still doesn't know about. Okay, now he knows. Now he knows. So he's lost 5 or 6, 7. Lots of lost mining time, and obviously getting 7 worker kills is fantastic. But despite all the damage, Backho's still only up 5 workers. Another 8, 9. 10 kills on those 2 DTs. Crazy damage. That should be more than enough for Backho to, start skyrocketing in terms of econ and supply. But instead, he's on the move. I don't think he's allowing his eco lead to kick in just yet. This could be a mistake. Why attack so soon? You're up so many workers. You just had this guy pull off of probes or pull off the mineral line for so long. Why not let that eco advantage kick in? Now he's also out of position, by the way. Or sorry, Noob's out of position, by the way. And he's going to go in here and get a drop off. No connection, though. Maybe that was the reason he moved out, is he wanted to, get the units at the bridges and then go for the drop. Now, this is going to be interesting. He's going to be able to unload the DT and also the Reaver. But a nice pylon at the bottom side of the base scouted, so he knows that that was sent off. But I don't see any reaction from the Dragoons. Oh, the Noob's just going to counter. Whoa, we caught him with his pants down. Reaver. I hear DT's dying. All right, I hear Probe's dying. Oh, man, this game's getting wild. Is there enough for Noob to win the game right here? I think he might actually have enough stuff. Oh, I forgot he has Reaver also, and Backho doesn't. His Reaver's not here in the army. Okay, now he has one, but it's very isolated. He doesn't even have the shuttle anymore. Pros are being pulled off the line. Backho, not like this. I thought for sure you had this game. Maybe the commitment to the tech was too heavy, and he's going to potentially lose his natural now. He hasn't lost that many pros, but the Nexus is going to die. I loved the build order, but was it just too slow? Okay, that Reaver dies. Both Reavers die. Another Reaver comes out. So I think that Backho should be able to hold, but not before his Nexus goes down. Never mind, he can't hold, man. There's so many Dragoons. There's even more coming. Reaver. Oh, that Reaver. Oh, he's getting locked in by the Zealot. Not like that. GG comes out, and that means Noob's going to be victorious. He's going to get past Backho here and get a rematch versus Ample. I think that Backho overall played pretty decent, but one thing I noticed is that the probe count, seemed to be cut at certain times where I think he shouldn't have been cutting. So maybe for next season, he can fix that. But we're going to be going into our losers match right now. So let's get into it. It's going to be between Noob and Ample. Okay, in the top left, again on Dark Origin, we have Noob. And once again in the bottom right, we do have Ample. So TVP here. You know, I was talking about Noob a little bit earlier where I had played on the ladder. He seems kind of like a passive-ish player. Just because it's a two-player map doesn't necessarily mean to me that he's just going to go gas steal Ample. I think we could see the same opener, which is just no range expansion for him. And then I guess the follow-up is kind of up in the air. But as far as Ample goes, I think this could be a gasless expand from him also. It could also just be a 12 gas. You know, you don't want to get gas stolen. But like I said, Noob doesn't really do that in my experience. And as I say that, there's no probe being sent out, so it doesn't look like he's going to gas steal this time. Gate coming down. This gate's not towards the ramp, so this makes me think that it's not going to be a Zealot. And Ample, there goes the racks. And will he 11 gas? Okay, he does 11 gas. So 132 11 gas. It's pretty much as fast as you can possibly get it. So he's looking to punish, you know, Proxy Gate here. He's looking to punish 12 Nexus. Wants to get his Vulture out ASAP. But neither of that is occurring this game, as we just have a normal probe timing. Gas coming down. Cybernetic's going to be coming down momentarily. And Probe going to come in here and see, hey, this guy went 11 gas, and the way he's going to be able to tell is because when this factory comes down at like 222 or 223 or whatever the timing is, that was actually going to be like a 220 factory, by the way, which is pretty much as fast as you can possibly get it. That SCV might die. Never mind, the Marine's already out. But that's an insanely fast, or it could have been an insanely fast factory timing. My record myself is 219. I've only done it one time. It was absurd. Well, he did build a Zealot, and interesting enough, he hit it over on the side. And we do have no range for Noob once again. Probe is going to get taken down in a second. And now the Zealot is on the way. Still no range though, so this is going to be the Nexus. So I was pretty close to accurate with this prediction. Well, wait a minute. He now just got gas. Now he just got the range and another goon. All right, and I bet you now Ample is suspicious of why is this guy sending the goon out ASAP. Oh, there's the cancel on the range again. I guess this is just what Noob does. He just cancels range at random points. And well, Vulture's out, so this is not going to do anything. But wait a minute. Kind of just let Preuss just run by. Well, Goon on the ramp is actually surprisingly strong. But I will say this about Dark Origin. I've come to know this after I got all into here by a Terran. There's actually slight vision on the low ground into the high ground. But he's in trouble because all the Marines are going to die. No, actually one is going to survive, and this goon is going to manage to get away. Nope, it looks like Ample pulled off his SCV so that he could lock in the Dragoon. An interesting play. And now he's going to actually kill that goon, which is nice. Robo has a follow-up. Oh. Gets in. What happened to the Vulture? Did it die? I think it did die. Right, well, this game's getting weird again already, just off of two goons. Into the natural, just being annoying. Noob really needs to run away. Like, I'm getting like Ghost of Dark level vibes right now. It's like, yes, you're being annoying here, but you're overcommitting, and now he's going to lose another goon. By the way, his worker count is pretty lacking, right? If you remember the Royal versus Noob game, what was it, like 21 to 19 in Noob's favor? Now, not only did he lose 2 goons, he's down 4 workers. That's a lot. Like, the command center, yes, is slightly slower, and maybe Noob can recover 2 of the 4 workers, but I don't think he's ever going to be able to fully recover until Terran, is putting down their factories at around like 50 workers. Now, Ample actually built way more Marines than I was expecting, and he's on the move again. Or he's on the move for the first time this game, but he's on the move again like he did on Citadel. It's going to be 2 tanks, 5 Marines. This may actually be unstoppable. I don't even know if does he have range? He doesn't even have range completed yet. How are you supposed to stop Marines and tanks with rangeless goons? Luckily, the observer sees it. But yeah, look at this. It's gonna take so much. Okay, it looks like he actually did just now complete range, which is great. Well, maybe not. No, he has. Okay, now it's complete. But it was a rush siege mode. That's weird, isn't it? Rush siege off of 1 fact? 1 barracks? Hopefully Ample doesn't overstep. One of the downfalls of rushing siege like this, and obviously being on 1 factory, means you have to creep, and you have to creep, pretty far with your tanks. And that means that this one's dead. Well, he gets 2 goons. Make it actually all the goons. Ends up getting rid of 3 out of the 4 goons. Keeps 1 tank alive. And Noob is in big time trouble. No way around it. He's in massive trouble here. He's down 7 workers. There's only 1 factory, so I guess in that sense it's good. He may be able to get both goons here. Ooh. Gets 1. Almost gets 2. This is so annoying. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. 1 factory just rallied tank, rallied Marine across the map, and it, it's not getting probe kills, but it's definitely putting pressure on it, saying to this guy like, hey, you can't just double expand, you've got to actually build Dragoons, or you've got to actually build Reavers. And behind this, Ample's, doing very well. He's got his armory coming, he's got Ultra coming, another Dragoon dies. Those Dragoons at the top are pretty weak, including that goon at the bottom. Okay, another 2 goons die. That one's gonna die. He lost 3 goons for that. He almost lost 4 goons for that. For what, 2 tanks? This is unreal value. I like how he's just sending the tank. Just like, we'll send another one. And we'll send another one. But yeah, Noob is in big time trouble. And just like in the previous game, I do have to point out, is unlike other players, I noticed Noob in particular floats a lot of money. Like, he's got 1K 200. No. Can't do it. I'm sorry, Noob. You cannot go Stargate at this point. I am sorry, sir. There is no way that this can work. This is way too late. It's done way too much damage. Yes, Terran doesn't know about it, but there is no way that this can work. Impossible. If he had have gone straight Arbiter, like, like a 7-minute Citadel or whatever, 6:30 Citadel, where he could get the Arbiter out in time before a timing, I could see that working. But as soon as this gets scanned, either Ampo's going to immediately take another base, or he's going to attack. He needs the Tribunal now. I mean, you cannot afford to build like more gateways right now. It's got to be Tribunal instantly. But I see him building gateways. Where's the Tribunal? Okay, there we go. It's at the top. So Arbiter, Tribunal on the way. But think about it. The Tribunal is going to take like 30 more seconds. So that's going to put him around 10 minutes completion. Then the Arbiter is a minute 40. So what's that? We're looking at 11:30-ish Arbiter. Terran may be doing an attack before then. I mean, I guess he's not going to do it this game because he's always only on 3 factories. Oh, and Vulture gets into the main. Oh, he's going to get into the main, or he gets into the natural. He's going to get into the main also, and now he's going to see that this guy's going Arbiter. So now he could instantly take a 4th base. So many probes are going to die. Did not evac the probes instantly. Lost 5, 6, 7, 8. Incredible damage. So Terran's up a base. He's up 12 workers. His armory's, been upgrading for a while, so his +1's going to be done pretty soon. And he knows that the follow-up is Arbiter. So now he's just going to flood factories. He saw that the Arbiter, or the Stargate, wasn't blinking, so he knows that, at most, when he attacks, there's going to be 1 stasis, which Terran is not afraid of, especially on a map like Dark Origin, where 1, you have the bridges that you can sit behind, and 2, there's buildable terrain, and he does not have to push very far across the bridges to be in range of the third base. So Noob, I don't even know what he should do. Should he just get away from the Arbor? Is kind of what I'm thinking he should go for. Go into shuttles with Storm, because at least you can get multiple Storms off. But it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. Instead, he's going to fall into the trap that Backho's falling into, which is he's going to build another Nexus at a point in the game where he desperately needs units. Was up in supply once again, so it's been back-to-back TVPs where he's just been ahead in supply, and I can't even tell you how hard it is for Protoss to beat a Terran who's up in supply. Noob has done a good job to recover his econ, but unfortunately for him, I just don't see how this econ is going to help him when this 9 fact, by the way, is coming at him. Yeah, it's a 9 fact. Ample was just like, no, you took way too much damage. It's time for you to die. He's not even getting armor upgrade. He's not getting a starport. It's literally just pure units. And I think he's either going right now or it's 1 more cycle of tanks. 9 factory is just a crazy amount of production. Now, Noob really needed to be sitting across these bridges to delay, but he didn't. Now the turrets are being built. And his army is pure goon. That's so many tanks, man. Oh my, this is going to be a destruction. I don't even know what to say. I don't even consider that a battle. Was that even a battle? He lost like 2 tanks, did he not? And Protoss lost their entire army. That was a massacre. And this is why I was saying, Noob, there's no way that this could work. It's way too slow. The Nexus at top right doesn't help you. And Terran did insane damage with the Vultures. So this is most likely just going to be GG. Yep, there it is. As he taps out. So that's going to be 1 point on the board for Ample. And he's 1 step closer to making it into the round of 16. I think if he makes it into the round of 16, it would be the 2nd season in a row he did that. I think last season he lost to Snow in the round of 16, right? And well, I mean, when you face Snow, that's just how it goes in TVP. So let's get into game 2 now. We're back on Citadel. Again, I've talked about how strong Terran is, but they generally don't win here. But maybe Ample can do it here and make it out in 2-0 fashion. And in the bottom left, we do have Noob. And this time around, we've got Ample in the bottom right. Okay, so a little bit better spawns this time for Noob. He's going to have direct access into Terran's main with drops. Ample not going to have that type of play available to him. Also, I was mentioning last time, with vertical spawns, he could sit on top of the base, deny the mineral only. That's not going to be a possibility here, that's for sure. Ooh, very fast scouts. So he's going to go for the, the Hail Mary here. Scout them first, gas steal them. And it does seem like he's going to find him first. So that's fantastic. And behind this, he's going to build a gateway also. So he's going to... Well, okay, he built the gateway, and now he's going to gas steel 2. And Ample, he's going to build his racks at his natural. So this could be a gasless expand. Now that it probes in his main, I guess he feels like, well, I'm most likely going to get gas stolen. I might as well just, you know, go for gasless. Oh, he almost got that refinery up, by the way. That was playing with fire. Noob, like, if this had been an 11 gas, Ample would have actually got it up in time. And then, you know, I've heard Best talk about how if you pylon scout like this and don't do any damage, you're dead. I guess that's true at the pro level. I'll take his word for that, but yeah, he definitely needed to get that gas steal. Wow, another probe being sent out. That's interesting. Maybe Proxy Citadel at mid-right? Please don't go to the natural. Don't show him that you have a second probe. What is this supposed to do? Why are there 2 probes here? Dude, come on. Like, he really needs to get this SCV now. I mean, he must kill it. He at least gets it, but I don't understand the second probe. Like, why? Like, it's never going to do anything. Okay, it gets the Manor Pylon off. Okay. Why is this Marine here? The Marine needs to be at the natural, man. Like, it's so common to have forward pylon or, you know, with a fast scout and then zealot pressure. Okay, good micro in between the depots. SCV. Ooh, Marine ends up getting taken down, and that SCV might die also. Probe is in a slick spot and may actually be able to wall in the Marine. Oh, we let him out. Well, this probe actually did a lot of damage. I was not expecting it to do this type of damage. I think this is mostly a misread from Ample, though. That Marine dies, and this is all starting to fall apart. But I do have to say, if we look at Noob's build, he has no gas. He has no Nexus. He's down workers. So he does need to do damage with this. He walls in the Zealot, but the Zealot that's doing all the damage is not being shot. Another SCV almost dies, and there's so little mining for Ample right now. He's taking way too much damage. He's going to lose another Marine at his natural. All these Zealots are still alive, man. This is game-ending damage. This is incredible damage. A 4th Zealot is here. That Marine almost got him. Now he builds the command center. This may just be GG. I mean, it's 3 Zealots. You know how much DPS that is? When there's only 1 Marine here? That was really good. Ends up catching 2 out of the 3 Zealots. That one's going to get away, but still, it's so much lost mining time. It is so much lost mining time. There's still no gas. Ample still has no bunker. Okay, now he's building it. He still has all these SCVs pulled off the mineral line. And I'm sure Noob is going to go again. Those 3 SCVs are off the mineral line also. So it's like 6 SCVs off the mineral line right now. Noob could double expand. I mean, literally Noob could do whatever the hell he wants. He could go Reaver. He could go DT. In fact, Ample's kind of lucky that this guy's not going DT. Because if it was DT, like if it was 1-base DT, the game's already over. There's no eBay, there's no Academy. It's another Nexus. So Noob is just going Mega Greed. I don't even know what you do if you're in Ample's position at this point. I actually kind of feel like he needs to just put down Barracks and go Academy. Because you're not transitioning out of this. This is way too much damage. This is insane damage. Like, it's a 530 gas finishing. Like, it's not even a 530 factory starting. This guy's 3rd Nexus is going to be done when a factory starts. So if you're Noob here, what do you do to make sure it's impossible to lose this one game? Well, the answer is you go 8-gate Storm. Impossible to lose. Literally impossible. And I think all Ample can do at this point is just play the most risky thing he can do, which is hide a base, let's say top middle. I think that's the least likely it will get scouted. Hide a base, or go starport. Yes, I realize starport would be mega late. Like hide it somewhere at top left, for example, and pray to God that you can get like a juicy mine shot on the probe line with a zealot coming in to save it or a goon coming in to save it, because other than that, I don't see how you get back into the game unless you're going to go for a Hail Mary, like let's say a 2-fact, 5 racks Marine Medic. But Protoss would have seen it coming from a mile away because his observatory's already done. There's no chance for upgrades. That's for sure. So maybe like a 5-fact timing, but he was just way too much. He's going to put up a turret ring. I don't hate the turret ring. I think it's good, actually. But I'm actually not a big fan of this third factory. I really think that you have to Marine Medic here and just pray that it somehow catches Protoss off guard. Maybe you can snipe the Observer, and then with the Observer not giving them vision, you can somehow snipe the Reaver with tanks and then push to victory. Well, Noob is doing exactly what he should do, which is just play cautiously. He's got 3 goons in his natural, waiting for the drop that we know is not coming. Ample's had to build a lot of turrets just to not die. I think that was the... Yeah, he's got his Academy at his natural, so I mean, he's going to try and play a long game. This is one of the best maps to try and play a long game on. You can get 4 bases easily, but at the same time, it's one of the worst maps to try and play a long game on, because carriers are insane on this map. There's so many bases on this map that instead of, you know, facing like 7 or 8 base Protoss, you could be legitimately playing versus like 12 base Protoss if it gets to that point. Like if you continue to camp so long, Protoss may just take top right. And in fact, if I was Noob here, now that I've got big econ with my 3 bases, why not try to take top right? It forces Terran to make a move. You can't camp. If you do camp, that base is mined out, and that's clearly a base that you want. So I would love that. Four gateways coming down. There's the forge, but it's not spinning, so no upgrades there. An academy for Ample, and you know, looking at the supply, it doesn't look that bad. Especially the worker count. I'm shocked. How is he within 7? So not bad econ, not bad worker count, not bad overall supply, but he's still obviously massively behind. It's almost like Noob heard me again. He's got his probe up at top right. I hope that's for a Nexus. But Ample has a worker, or not a worker, a vulture going up there to deny that base. Now, Noob, I am surprised that he hasn't tried to take another base at this point. He got his 3rd base up so fast. You know his econ is killer. Why not try and get another Nexus? His Citadel, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty slow. Like it's really slow actually. A 10-minute or 9.5-minute Citadel is really freaking slow. I'm looking at his main probe count. There's a lot there. Like, I can tell by the shadow that there's a lot there, so maybe he like he undersaturated his 3rd base and undersaturated his natural, which is why maybe he doesn't have his stuff up as fast as possible. That was a good attempt there to get a vulture in, but in the end doesn't get anything in there. Zealots are starting to be produced, and we're now starting to see Noob start to run away with the supply, 130 to 90. But I think that actually Ample should be able to hold this. He's got 6 factories. He's gonna have +1, which is, you know, not amazing, but it's some type of upgrade. I could see a world where he can hold what I think inevitable bust is going to be. He's still got his barracks alive to float, and he also has an eBay to float to soak up hits also. Well, Ample is moving out, but he needs to build more factories right now. Nope. Ample's going for +2. And that's going to cut into his factory count. And I think he's going to get overrun here. He needs to put down some more factories, man. Like, he scanned and he saw that this guy doesn't have, high tech. So he just needs to have a lot of stuff. But unfortunately, I don't know if he's going to get to a lot of stuff because here we go. Speed should be kicking in just a second for Protoss. He does have double shuttle. He's got both of his Reavers alive. There's not very many Goliaths, if any, for Terran. Is he going to run in? This is the one way that you let Terran get back into the game is you int off 2 shuttles full of stuff. Terran's got his third base actually up and running. I don't know how the observer didn't spot that, but it's going to be running in a second. There's still no speed on the Zealots, so actually Protoss' army is not that scary at the moment. The shuttles are coming in into mid-right. You're going to shut this down. Double Reaver. Okay, anything else? Okay, there's some Zealots. Shuttle is going to die. But these tanks... Protoss. Obviously range is up there, but speed, it's mandatory. Zealots are complete garbage without them. There we go. Noob's had enough. I guess speed now, it's just kicked in. There's not that many mines. There are a lot of tanks though. Okay, there's the storm. More storm. Oh, that was good focus fire. Gets rid of one of the Templars. Yeah, there's... Oh my gosh, it's a massacre. I guess this is what happens when you're down 90 supply, is you just get absolutely annihilated. And there's the GG as Ample taps out. And that's going to give us another game 3. And we're going to go into it in just a second. Is it going to be Ample or Noob making it out? I think that the follow-up from Noob was pretty much perfect. I actually think Ample's follow-up was, okay-ish. But like I said, he was just so far behind. It really needed to be something incredibly risky. Hidden base, starport, pray it does a ton of damage, or Marine Medic. I really think Marine Medic was the way to go because I don't really think any other way is going to win. So let's get into game 3. This is the last game of the day, and this will round out our round of 16. And in the top left, fighting for his life, we've got Ample. And in the bottom right, also fighting for his life, we've got Noob. So this time cross spawns. If there's ever a time to go for that 12 Nexus, this is it. The dream spawn. Hopefully for Noob's sake, he doesn't pylon scout again. Because if he does, there's no chance that he'll find him first. And you saw the impact of him scouting so fast last game, right? Like, he was down 2 workers. Like, yes, he recovered it with his incredible kills with the Zealots, but I don't think Ample's going to allow that to happen again. So what I want to see from Ample's side, though, is I want to see the gasless. I think he's able to pump out units, like, really freaking good. Like, every time I see Ample play gasless, he does really well with it. And now with your life on the line, I feel like you got to go for your strongest build, and I 100% think that gasless is his strongest build. It's like not even a question. It's like not even a debate for me. It's definitely his best opener. Probe going to be sent out after the gateway. And we do have the barracks in the main. And will he go for the gas? Nope, I think he queued up another SCV. And that means that it is not going to be a 12 gas. It will be the gasless like I was hoping for, and this is just going to give him such a streamlined build. One of the vulnerabilities that I see of Noob, I think you could see it last game, like, yes, he won. There's no doubt about it. Yes, he won. But how long did it take for him to max out? What was it, 13 minutes for him to max out? Remember, I realized he cut in the beginning to do his zealot pressure, but he got an instant third base, an immediate third base. It couldn't have been faster. But still, Ample caught up in workers. Still, Noob had almost a 10-minute Citadel. I think Noob kind of struggles at max out timings. So Ample here with gasless, if he does like a 7-fact 2-1 or a 7-fact +1, or maybe he does like Dark Origin again, +1 with 9-fact and just goes for the throat, I really do think that Noob's going to have a hard time keeping up in supply. I really do. So here comes the command center in just a second. Ample went for the safe route, by the way, building a second depot before the command center. A lot of times we only see that in BSL with Mihu. And the probe actually never confirmed anything. He saw the SCV go to the low ground, but that doesn't really say much. I mean, it could have just been there to help, you know, potentially build a bunker. So he's kind of in the dark right now. He does go for a Nexus, again, off of no range. This is just the new build. This is just what I've always seen him do. And he's probably going to go for that 345 robotics again, which we consistently see him do. Now, Ample here, he has a lot of options. You know, he can go for the 2-fact, but I think with it being cross-spawn, those few seconds of delay, not going to be the most ideal for him. He could go Starport, and in fact, I kind of like the Starport play. His SCV is still alive and out on the map. If he can either keep it out on the map or send another one over to like top right, for example. Retro has big drop area. He could get in there, do a lot of damage. But I think the thing that I really want to see the most is I want to see the 5-minute armory. You've got gasless. You're going to have mega econ. You're going to be able to hit that 2-1 max timing at around 12:30 that I was talking about. You're not going to have to go 5-fact before taking a third base. Because you have so much stuff, you could just go 3-fact. So that's what I'm really hoping to see here is some type of early armory timing. But instead, he ends up going for the 2-fact. And I guess the question now is how many tanks will it be? We've seen players like Royal go 1 tank and just send it with vultures. Obviously, the most common is 3 tank. I've seen upwards of 5. And there's the first add-on, and that is Academy. Okay, everything so far looks pretty normal to me. And in Noob's main, are those more gates? I guess they are. So maybe it's like 3-gate ob. I actually didn't check to see what the tech was in his main. Yeah, there's a Robo, which we knew was going to be on the way, but it is going to be 3-gate, so this must be Observatory, so he's going to be playing, you know, the safe play here, in case Ample goes for a timing, which he is. eBay, alright, safe timing for Ample also. You know, we haven't really seen DTs at all from Noob. And he still hasn't gone DTs. And in this particular scenario, I think going DTs would have been a complete mistake. Especially because Terran players often go for a fast academy like this. So you not only are going to be running into Comstat, you're also going to be most likely running into turrets. So there's no chance of even DT drop working. And we've got a pylon over at the left side just to get some scouting intel. But I don't really think that's a very important pylon position because the likelihood of a drop coming from this angle is kind of low in my experience. Scan goes off, not sure exactly what he saw, but probably just saw the gates and the Robo and Observatory and probably has a read that, hey, it's just 3-gate Observer. Vulture's already out in the map. Yeah, it was the 1-tank mass Vulture, so he's going to try and get a lot of Vulture pressure out there. Try and scale his econ a little bit better, you know, not overbuild tanks in the beginning. Maybe scale his factory count. And Vultures, I think, sniped the probe. but backs off after the Nexus has been confirmed. And just going to be setting up mines all over the place. Get some vision over here. Vision in the center of the map. Obviously all that. And look at this. Ample immediately took a third base. He knows that his gasless is so powerful. He knows that this guy went 3-gate observer. If he just walls off the top middle base, has mines all over the place, and tanks with siege, he's probably not under any threat. But I'm not necessarily in agreement with that. If it was 3-gate observer plus shuttle with like 3 zealots, I think he would die actually. So this is, in my opinion, kind of risky. But we'll see if Noob can actually punish it. You know, most players don't go for Bulldog play. If they're going to build a shuttle, it's for Reaver, and I don't think Noob actually went for Reaver. So the chances of him having a shuttle is quite low. So because of that, it doesn't seem like Terran's going to get punished. But I think that if Protoss had blindly done it, this could have been a mistake from Terran. Oh, but there it is! There's the shuttle, but I guess the question now is the shuttle too slow? And I think the answer is yes, it's too slow at this point. I think he needed to have this like 30 seconds faster, and then this top middle base may have actually be under threat. But, you know, there's 5 tanks now, there's a semi-wall, or maybe a full wall, and there's a bunker. Not necessarily at the third base, but there is a bunker that he could unload to help DPS this. Now he missed the shuttle, by the way, and these vultures are not here to help, so he may actually be able to bust in. There's only 1 tank. Repair, it's pretty odd. But there's no Reaver in here, so there's no critical scarab shot to take down the tanks. These SCVs are repairing that depot heroically. Vultures get into the third base, gonna start racking up some probe kills. Both players trading blow for blow. Whoa, he just realized, like, whoa, I can just walk in, so he walks in. Both players losing quite a lot. Lots of tanks falling, lots of goons falling also, and obviously lots of SCVs and probes. I would say that, well, if he can kill all of these goons without losing any more tanks, I would say Terran probably got the better trade. Yes, I realize Terran is down workers, but let's be honest here, Terran's units are better than Protoss. Like, that's not even a question whether they're better. So I think that overall this was a better trade for Terran because he didn't lose as many key units. Protoss behind this is going to go for a 4th base, and I do see that Terran has a starport, so he's going to be going into his +2 pretty soon. Oh, I see a building that's next to the gateways that does not look like it's a Stargate. It does not look like it's a gateway, I mean. We already had a completed Stargate. I don't know if I like this, man. I don't think he did enough damage to be going for carriers like this. Also, Terran kept like the majority of his tanks alive. We also just heard off a ton of scans. We heard a ton of scans go off, so Ample's probably scanned all that. I see he's starting to build more factories. I think he's just going to flood factories now. He's just going to cut some units and flood factories. If there goes 6 fact, 7 fact, maybe 9 fact. He's got his third base with a third gas. He could go 9 fact. I mean, he's had it for a while. How do you stop this if you're Protoss? I don't even think you necessarily need to go +2 weapon anymore. Like, yes, +2 weapon is obviously going to help you in the mid and late game, but if you're going to just do a timing, +2 weapon is not going to be done in time. Well, it might actually. By the time the factory is complete and you actually get any cycle of units out of the factories, +2 weapon may be done, but maybe he doesn't necessarily need to get +1 armor. But either way, he knows that carriers are on the way. He's got some time before they get to critical mass. What is it, like 100 seconds for them to build? Then you've got another X amount of seconds to build the interceptors. So he can wait like 5 minutes before having to push. 4 vultures getting into the natural, or the third base, I mean, gets a couple of probe kills. Supplies are still dangerously close, and Noob's worker count is still not as good as I was hoping it would be. Meanwhile, Terran's, it's not the highest I've ever seen, but on 3 bases, and you know that you're just all-inning, 58 is going to be perfectly fine. It's an 8 fact, by the way, and he does have the double armory spinning. So he's going to have +2 weapon, maybe in like a minute and a half, maybe like 2 minutes. And that's still going to be a solid timing versus what's probably going to be just 4 carriers. Okay, the first 2 carriers are out. I like how Noob took bottom left, though, as opposed to mid right. And the reason I like that is because most likely Ample's going to attack through the center. So if he attacks through the center, he's going to probably, let's assume he wins the battle, right? He's going to push through, try and knock down bottom middle, try and knock down the natural. And if he had taken mid right, probably branch off 2 tanks over there and kill that base also. Whereas with bottom left, if he pushes down towards the natural, it's going to take him a long time and a very concentrated effort to knock down bottom left while also taking down bottom middle. Now, again, another vulture attack at bottom middle kills a decent amount of probes, but he also lost a decent amount of vultures there. And I don't know if you want to lose vultures when you're going to be going for a timing in just a second. More turrets being built. People underrate turrets versus carriers. If you can get like a field of like 8 to 10 turrets, they can fend off, you know, a low number of carriers, like 3 or 4. So I definitely think that this base is not really under threat. Well, maybe it is because now that the Dragoons have all been sent over there, but just versus carriers, I don't think they are. But I'm looking at the comp, and what is that, 10 Goliaths, 12 Goliaths versus 2 carriers? So he's got more than enough to deal with the carriers right now. His tank count is crazy. Like I'm saying, his 2-1 should be kicking in momentarily. And what am I looking at again? The Zealots have no speed. Why do the pros consistently do this? This guy went gasless. You know this guy's going to attack at 14 minutes. This is what Terrans do when they go gasless. Where is speed? Terran's maxed now. This is a huge army. Tons of tanks, tons of Goliaths with rallied vultures. Okay, finally speed kicks in. Okay, so he's gotten it in the nick of time, so it ends up actually being a great... No, all of his units are clumped up. Where are the carriers? Oh my gosh, man. Preuss is taking so much damage, and the battle hasn't even really started. Those tanks did tons of damage. He just bled off so many units. Terran's max. Preuss is at 160. Also, this is retro where there's buildable terrain. He can start building turrets. Goliaths are in the front. This could be a mistake because the Zealots can run on top of them and the tank just splash everything. So he actually lost a lot of Goliaths there, but there's still a lot left over. Doesn't really look like this is going to backfire. More Zealots are trying to run in to save the day, but there's way too little on the ground. Ooh, carrier getting focused down? Nope, but interceptors are. You can see that a couple of them died right there. Oh, is it Mini? DT man coming out? He died. This is an unstoppable army, man. This is way too much. He's got 6 carriers, but 2 of them are right there, not with the other 4. Ooh. He just doesn't have a ground army anymore. Carriers are good, but you gotta have a ground army. And unfortunately, him being right up against the wall forced him to take a lot of losses before a fight even started. And I think we're dead. This base is gone. There's way too many Goliaths. The Goliaths are heavily upgraded also with the 2-1. Maybe if he can get out, 2 more carriers to get 8, he may be able to, like, survive. I still think he's dead, but, like, I still think he would lose his main, but maybe he could, like, survive and play the game out with 8 carriers. But Ample's not all in with this. He's taking another base at mid-left. That carrier's getting super low. 2 shots away. All the gateways are dying. Oh my gosh. These GG's. Well, that's a bit of a disheartening way to lose. I like Doob's idea with the shuttle, but it was too late. And I am not going to lie, I do not like the Stargate follow-up. It's too slow. You can see it. He had 4 carriers when Terran wanted to attack. Terran's not scared of 4 carriers. And Terran had 2-1 with max and 3 bases. So unfortunately, Noob's going to be eliminated. Both Royal and Ample are going to make it out. So let's take a look at today's results. We, of course, had Royal beat Backho, Ample beat Noob. Royal beat Ample, Noob beat Backho. I think Backho had chances, and then Ample beat Noob. I think there were some questionable strategic decisions in the last set, but that's how it goes sometimes. I think we are going to be doing a group draw for the round of 16 right now. So the way it works is obviously the tier 1s are separated from each other. I'm going to assume also that the tier 1s can't play versus each other, or can't play versus the tier 2s that they played in the round of 13. So our tier 1s are Snow, Light, Motive, Sock, Movie, JYJ, Mini, and Royal. And tier 2 is Beast, Sins, Barracks, Sharp, Shine, Hero, YSC, and Ample. So let's take a look at how the group or the round of 16 is going to unfold. Okay, so he's going to show me what player selections I want to look at. So let's just go left to right. Let's see who Snow gets. Oh, I'm looking at it right now. So we've got Snow, and then he's going to be seated in the second spot. So let's go Light now. All right, Motive. Sock. Movie. I'm still shocked at Movie getting first. JYJ. Mini. And Royal. Okay, so let me just go down the list and see, like, what's my ideal matchup here. So, Snow, he's my favorite Protoss, right? Like, there's no question about it. I think I would want to see him versus Ample. And the reason I say that is Snow and Ample had a good epic game, good series last time in the StarCastTV Star League. So I think that could be a good revenge battle. Let's take a look at Light now. So who would I want to see Light versus? Maybe Barracks. Well, let's just see what they get. So show me, okay, who's Light versus? I just tell Cruiser to show who's versus who. Okay, so we got Light versus YSC. Okay, now let's see who Snow versus. Snow versus Barracks. Okay, Motive now. Okay, Sharp. That's gonna be an interesting one because even though in ASL Motive didn't have the best game ever, he had a bit of a misstep there. Motive's very good versus Terran, so I think Sharp could have a tough time. But at the same time, Sharp does very well with his multitask. So Motive may fall apart. Like if you remember, we had Motive versus Best, and Motive was in a huge winning position, right? And Best made some type of miracle comeback, so I could see Sharp picking him apart in that sense. So let's take a look at Sock now. Who does he get? Sins. All right, that's gonna be an interesting one. Sins is very aggressive, and you never know what the hell he's gonna do. Let's take a look at Movie. I think Movie's the weakest player in this entire round of 16, and well, he probably got the worst opponent he could have ever gotten. Hero, this is his best matchup. Zerg versus Protoss. Consistently top 4 in ASL. Movie, I don't even know if Movie could qualify for ASL. I mean, that's how stacked ASL is now. And Movie, I haven't seen him streaming in a long time. This is my first time seeing him in quite a while. So I feel like this is a death sentence. But I will say this. Movie does have a lot of interesting strategies that I think he could pull out, kind of like Sins, where it could catch Hero off guard, because Hero's going to know all the standard typical timings, like the 973 or when the 730 Zealot timing comes, etc., etc., etc. But Movie will do weird builds to throw you off, so there could be some hope there. But if Movie plays a normal game, Hero's going to dominate. So let's take a look at JYJ now. Fine. You know, actually, I was thinking Shine would be an interesting matchup here because Shine does a lot of crazy stuff, and JYJ just is super solid. But if you can force him to play into your game, maybe he could fall apart. So I think that's an interesting matchup. And obviously, if Shine wins, and let's assume Snow wins, because I think that's likely, then you have Shine versus Snow, which is a rematch from last season, where, remember, it was 4-3. So that would be nuts. So now let's go look at Mini. Okay, so Mini versus Ample. All right, I think that's a good matchup for Ample. Ample's obviously pretty good versus Protoss. You just saw him beat Noob. And then Royal versus Beast. Actually, even though I like Royal, Beast could be his kryptonite. I really do hope that Royal does not play gimmicky, because people like Beast and people like Shine will exploit the gimmicks for sure. If Royal plays like a 3 or 4 racks build, oh, I think it's Royal all day long. But as soon as he starts trying to gimmick like 2 racks, 5-minute factory, one racks Valkyrie style, all of a sudden players like Beast become very formidable. And I think for sure Beast could win that particular series. So that is it for the round of 32. We have our round of 16 draw. I think it's looking pretty good so far. I think it's pretty stacked on the top side, I won't lie. I mean, JYJ, Snow, Hero, and Royal, that's pretty nuts. Also with Shine, who always does very well. But we do have players like Mini and Light and Sharp in the bottom side. So I'm looking forward to see how the round of 16 unfolds. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week with the round of 16.